Cross Lake City Council meeting to order. It's Friday, March 14th at 9 a.m. Is Robin on there yet? Okay, we'll just hold on just a second. She says she got disconnected. I'll say try now.
The meeting hasn't started yet. Lori, can I ask you a question?
It did.
Are we still having a meeting Monday morning?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Give her another minute and then we'll go forward. Well, everybody's got a little green on today around here. What? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, ditto.
We're always waiting for you.
Oh, nice
Got your
blankie.
blankie button yet?
I don't. We're just gonna wait 30 more seconds. While we wait, apparently clue number 2 is out today. I am, I'm gonna find it. Fixcon Roofing will be leading the parade on the face of the Blinky and an Emerald upgrade. Deals and discounts are valid today. Be sure to get your ticket. Don't delay. So who knows where that is?
Well, I know exactly where it is.
I'm sure you do. Duh.
Because that was a,
How do you not know? Okay, she's texting me, but I don't think she's being able to connect. So we'll just continue forward here after I hear what her answer is. She says it's like it's like all communications went down. I've sent to my personal email and I'm waiting for the link. Did we do a new link? Yeah,
Yeah.
You text her this meeting ID and passcode, Jackson.
okay. Try. Can you just read it off, please? 895
3745.
374 3745 86
Passcode is 251.
25.
987.
Okay, we're gonna go forward anyways. So first up on the list is the update on funding for an archaeological study on County Road 103.
After discussion with TJ, we believe that it would fit best in the park dedication fund balance account.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll make a motion that we take that. Sure.
If TJ and the city council would like, I would be willing to pay for the amount allocated to share costs with Cook County based off of the funds I raised through the Lake Foundation and save the money in the park dedication fees.
I'm open to that. Thank you for your continued work on that, Mr. O'Connell.
Mike, you continue to amaze me.
Are we taking that out of the Lake Foundation or
Yep,
where?
we'll write a check to the city of Cross Lake. Is that who you'd want it to? Or PAL Foundation and then run it through them?
Yep,
But-
and that amount was the high end, so we'll just wait for the invoice.
Okay. And
Thank
then
you.
What was the amount up to?
$2,800.
2,800 flat? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike,
Thank you.
Wow.
With that new information, I will amend my motion to say that I would like to make a motion that we accept a check from the Lake Foundation and cash for doing that archaeological study.
a second. There she's on now.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion?
I would just go, they could just do a regular vote because she wasn't on for.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 2, update on quote for the flags for the light poles.
We have ordered a couple samples, 4x6 and 3x5. And when they arrive, then we'll know which ones are going to be best suited for the flag poles. Also ordered samples of a flagpole kit that will allow continuous spinning. Pricing on the ones that I ordered as samples would be $25.99 for the American flag and $21.99 for the Minnesota old flag. And then the poles are $16.99 each. I am not sure of the cost on the 4x6 as Pat Netco ordered that for us.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Number 4, the approved revised job description for a heavy equipment / sewer operator. This one will need a council action.
I apologize for the error that occurred on Monday evening and putting in the request for a Class B CDL for the heavy equipment sewer operator. The DOT was out, and so we brought him into the Public Works shop and had him look at one of our trailers. That trailer does classify as a Class A. So I need to put it back to a Class A. I would like to keep, though, the Public Works Director at a Class B, as he is not to be a working foreman. Okay. So we need to put this heavy equipment sewer operator back at a Class A. Again, Paul and I do apologize for the inconvenience. I mean Pat, and Paul's giving me big eyes.
Paul, you're wearing all the hats again.
I'm so sorry. So
All
I
right.
do need a motion for that.
Thank you for your input, Lori.
I'll move to approve the position description.
Second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion. Shar?
Bob?
Yes.
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, Paul, this one's you, that encroachment agreement update between the city and Michael and Mariah Bozio. You're fine, it's just a special meeting.
This was presented at the last city council meeting, and they just had some additional questions, so we worked with our city attorney on getting those answered. One difference was number 9 on there. It states transferable, this encroachment agreement shall run with the land and be binding upon the successors, heirs, and assigns of the owner. The rights and obligations set forth herein shall automatically transfer to any subsequent owner of the property without the need for further action by the city, provided that the new owner agrees to abide by the terms and conditions of this agreement. And then one other small change that has been made since this got printed was in number 2. There is after number 4, we added a 5, which is not in your packet, and it states, may maintain a partial driveway within the right-of-way, provided that it does not interfere with public use or require further expansion of the encroachment. And we put that in there because if you turn to the actual site plan on the very back, you can see where their encroachment starts on their right-of-way getting into their driveway. But if they asphalt an actual driveway leading into their garage, part of their driveway is going to sit in the right-of-way. So they asked to be able to have a driveway. And so we added verbiage in there just to satisfy that.
Now, is this just an update?
That's just an update.
Okay, so no council action will be needed on this yet, right?
Oh, no.
Are we still waiting on?
No, we got confirmation. We can make a motion. Sorry.
We can do a
Yes,
motion today? Okay, I
We
didn't
can
know
make
if-
a motion.
Okay. I didn't know if we were still waiting on that,
No,
one clause that they were
No,
concerned.
we got that figured out, and we are good as far as that
Thank you.
termination verbiage. We are good to go.
Perfect. Thank you.
As it is stated.
Awesome, good job, Paul.
I move to approve the encroachment agreement between the city and Michael and Mariah Bocio.
Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion?
Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Sandy? Robin?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Passed. All right, we're gonna start number 6 here. The first reading of the ordinance amendment adding a mixed-use district, addition to definitions, architectural standards, and changes to the land use table. Paul, you can sit down, you don't need to go up there.
gonna put it up on the.
Perfect, that's fine. I just don't wanna have to make you stand at the podium the whole time.
That's okay.
Going through this, I would like to literally, instead of breezing through it to start, I just wanna start off line by line, if that's okay, please.
Can I run through a quick summary, just to give you guys the overarching
Yes.
thought on
Yep,
what we came up with, and then we can get into the weeds a little bit?
that's fine.
So based on what was given to us in January, as far as two out of the 3 developments that we've been talking about, we presented a mixed-use district, the idea of one, and so then we were tasked with creating that district. So that is one of the summary items, is just what the mixed-use district is and the standards.
Okay.
So the purpose of this district is to provide the ability to be diverse in the multi-use at the present time, as well as allowing the use to be interchangeable in the future. This district also is to accommodate personal storage buildings with performance standards established in Articles 28 and 29, along with Section 26-282. To create this district, a land use map amendment will be required. And just again, for a refresher, we would be automatically designating these 2 developments in the limited commercial currently as mixed use. Anyone moving forward would have to come in and ask if they wanted to change their property to mixed use. Number 2, minimum development size to be 10 acres, platted out to meet the below requirements. 3, to create this district, land use map amendment will be required upon completing a development review team meeting. 4, outside storage is prohibited. 5, the hookup of a septic system and well is permissible for an established business use, but prohibited for personal storage buildings unless a well is used for exterior irrigation only. And number 6, refer to Article 28 and 29 for greater regulated standards within the district. And then you can see the density and lot setbacks. That is pretty much, that reads exactly how our limited commercial reads as is. We didn't make any changes to that. Except we did structure lot line setbacks, we moved from 5 to 10 feet. That was the only one we did, and that was recommended by fire chief.
Okay.
And then, because we're adding personal storage in our mixed-use district, we did not have that in our definitions, so we added a definition of what a personal storage building is, which reads: a structure used for the storage of belongings, equipment, or materials of a personal nature that is not intended for human habitation and dwelling units. So that's summary item number 2, created the mixed use, added personal storage. We had to define personal storage, and then we had to come up with how do we want to permit these. Planning Commission decided, because this is a new use to the city of Cross Lake, and there's also not a lot of examples outside of the city of Cross Lake, we felt it was good to put it under review. And so for both the mixed use district along with the industrial, they wanted to see a conditional use permit. So that's in summary kind of the bulk of the 3 main things that we did. And then going into the weeds just a little bit, and a lot of this is just administrative verbiage. Everything in red is what we changed. Again, in the standards that I read, the purpose of it was defined. We added the mixed use to the land use table. We made a couple of administrative changes on here, we pretty much copied and pasted what our limited commercial reads over to the mixed use outside of some odd ones that we found that weren't necessary, like we took out home business and home occupation and limited commercial. It doesn't make sense to have it in there anyways. We took out nothing on this page. We flip the page, you can see where we added personal storage building. And this will eventually get alphabetized and put in the right spot. We just put it at the bottom right now. Just to show personal storage building is going to make the land use table, and then it'll read conditional use under both the mixed use district and the light industrial / commercial. And then I'm going to jump to page 9. So I'm talking about mainly mixed use right now. I'm going to jump into the industrial because of what we read under the mixed use district standards. We also added a couple of line items up into the industrial standards as well. Outside storage is prohibited, and then number 4, the hookup of a septic system and well is permissible for an established business use, but prohibited for personal storage buildings unless a well is used for exterior irrigation only. And a big part of this was when you come in for a permit in either the business district or a limited commercial district and the light industrial, you do need to establish a use of your building. And Planning Commission thought you can either have a business or you can have storage. And they felt if we're going to go down to storage, we need to define storage. And we've been having issues with enforcement of living quarters in storage. And so they felt like this would self-regulate itself if we limited the use of water and septic in storage. It would be similar to a lot of the other storage areas in town that do not have a well or water connected. So moving forward, we felt like you needed to establish a business, or you could have storage, but keep those separate. And then obviously storage, we just didn't want future development within them as far as living quarters. And then I'm going to jump a couple pages. Everything in between is because we added mixed use into our ordinance. There's just a lot of like little administrative items that we just need it's a trickle down effect of little things, adding, verbiage as far as mixed use and districts. But the other thing that we changed is the architectural standards. And we didn't do a lot. All we did is we took what we've already worked on. We took the architectural standards that we've already established in the corridor overlay district, and we just moved them up to both the limited commercial but also the mixed use district. And
Thank you.
to highlight that, the two big things was glass on any front facade shall be a minimum of 5%, with non-front facades consisting of a minimum of 2.5%. And then architectural metal panel shall be limited to a maximum of 25% on any front facade, and non-front facade shall be no more than 75% of one approved material type unless there is a differential in color or material. Those are kind of the two big ones. I mean, we required 24-inch overhangs, and then we established a maximum height of 35 feet.
Thank you. Any last minute thoughts, Paul, or any last minute things of information, points of information we should know?
Well, this was, all this was brought forward to you guys with a vote of 3-2 with my planning commission. We've been kind of going around and around on this topic, as you guys know, for a long time now. My planning commission feels that establishing a business is really important in these districts, and making a separation between that and personal storage, and making sure that we have the ability to define what storage is moving forward. And then they felt the need for review, because this is new. Maybe down the road, if we look at our ordinance and we all feel like it's tight enough and it's enforceable, we can make changes, but for the short term, they felt it important that review is important with a new use that the city is, doesn't have any experience with.
Can I ask for clarification on
Yeah.
this? So, say someone wants to start a development. So, and they meet all the criteria, but, thank you, sorry. But until, final approval comes upon the presentation of a plat, right?
Yeah, well, it depends on if it's a vacant piece of property and they're looking to split it up into multiple parcels, they'd have to go through the platting process, so preliminary plat and final plat.
And included in that would be a description of what the usage will be for those.
Well, and no, not necessarily. And through a developer's agreement, it could be established, but people do have the ability as of right now to come in and just make a plat and not establish a use, because a plat is just breaking up parcels of property. So you have 10 acres, you can split, as long as you fit the ordinance of the lot size of the district, you can split up a property and not establish a use, and it still is just vacant land. And there's no use. The use is established when they come in for a building permit.
Okay, so.
Or land use permit.
At some point, there needs to be clarification about what exactly they're building.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, Paul.
yeah.
All right, council, let's start digging in. So first, we have the summary of the mixed-use district. The purpose of this district is to provide the ability to be diverse in the multi-use at the present time, as well as allowing the use to be interchangeable in the future. This district is also to accommodate personal storage buildings with performance standards established in Articles 28 and 29, along with Section 26-282. To create this district, a land use map amendment will be required. Think we're okay with that? Number 2, minimum development size to be 10 acres platted out to meet the below requirements. Now, is this moving forward, excluding the 3 developments that are already now? Okay, thank you, Paul.
Those are already platted.
I just wanted to make sure. To create a district, a land use map amendment will be required upon completing a development review / a DRT meeting. What is everyone's thoughts on that?
Great.
Okay. Next is outside storage is prohibited. I think that's a great idea. Thoughts? Any concerns?
And then, I guess just as a reminder, because this is mixed use, we also have to be, all these things, we have to be looking at it from 2 different lenses. Personal storage that we're adding, but then there's also the possibility of businesses going in there. So,
Correct.
Just for outside storage, this would also be included for businesses as well.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Number 5, I think this might be a hookup for most of us on here. The hookup of a septic system and a well is permissible for an established business use, but prohibited for personal storage buildings unless a well is used for exterior irrigation only. I'd like to see what the council's appetite is for this to read. The hookup of a septic system and well is permissible for an established business use and permissible for a personal storage building. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think,
Jackson,
I think,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Bob.
I think that's the way it should be. I don't care if somebody's in their storage building putting birdhouses together or rotating the tires on their car. Then you need to use a restroom. They shouldn't have to go out behind a tree.
And that's exactly what we don't want to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go over to toy box storage, that's what people are having to do. They go to the east end of those buildings and go behind the buildings, and
Right.
we can't entirely stop that, but
Right.
certainly they should have the option to have a
Bathroom.
bathroom, yeah.
Thank you, Bob. Ms. Sylvester?
I agree with you, Bob. I also want to note on February 7th, when we went through the criteria as a council, and Jackson, you led it very well, and the bulleted items on that on that Friday, we all did agree, maybe it's changed since then, that water inside the facility, regardless if it's personal storage or business use, was what we were looking for. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Sandy, Jamie, are you guys kind of on board with that change?
You know, I was totally opposed to having water originally, and I've talked to a lot of people. I've actually gone out and looked at some, and I realize that the usage for, you know, even if it's, I mean, regardless if you're going to be living there, which obviously we don't want, but I don't know how you can have utilize a storage area without being able to have some water, like to wash your boat or to, you know, go to the bathroom,
Right.
like you say.
Right.
It's, I mean, unfortunately, it makes it harder to regulate what's happening in the buildings, but, you know, with dwellings going on. But I mean, as long as it's not overt and there aren't, you know, they're not having, put a deck on and they're having parties outside or whatever, I mean, I just think it's the most practical way to go, move forward.
Thank you, Sandy.
Yeah.
Jamie? Awesome.
I think it's a practical way to do it. I think I think there's some precedents that, you know, that even if people want to sleep in them without water and sewer, that may happen, so.
Right. All right, Paul, if you have a pen, or I don't know how you want to do this, but I would
I think we can just
scratch
take
out.
5 off, because, you know, the only reason it was in there was to prohibit, and if we're not prohibiting
gonna
it, then we can just take it off.
Take the whole thing. I want it in there, I'm sorry. I rather much have the definition stated clear as day in here, that the hookup of a septic system and well is permissible for an established business use and permissible for storage and permissible for personal storage buildings. I really much rather have the definition in the ordinance. I don't want it excluded. Thoughts on council?
I agree.
I want it in there, please.
Yes, that's fine.
Sandy?
Yeah, it makes it.
Robin?
Yes, please.
Thank you. All right, refer to Article 28 and 29 for greater regulated standards within this district. Looking at some of these setback numbers, it looks like we kind of I maybe had a question on the structure lot line setbacks for residential was 30 feet. I believe it was 25, correct? Paul?
No, we didn't change that.
Okay. Did you just come up with 30, or it's always been 30?
It's
Because
been-
30 is in red.
It's been 30.
Okay, then we'll keep it at 30. The definition of a personal storage building. Right now, the proposed definition reads, a structure used for the storage of buildings, equipment, or materials of a personal nature that is not intended for human habitation in dwelling units. I would like to see this read as follows. A structure that is used for the storage of belongings, equipment, or materials of a personal nature that can be used for human habitation and dwelling units, but not intended for residential 365-day living.
I don't think that's, I think that's too broad.
Okay, that's fine. Do you want to scratch that 365? I just wanted to say something to the effect of not a permanent residence.
How about that it's not intended for human habitation on an ongoing basis or on a permanent basis? We don't want these turning into homes.
Right,
but,
that's
you know,
why I'm
someone
trying
wants
to,
wants to spend the night.
that's what I'm, yes.
And can I just point out one thing? On the very back page, where I have it listed, I also, and this is currently in our ordinance, but I put the definition of dwelling unit that we have in our definition, and there's a reason why we put it in the definition, but a dwelling unit reads, any structure or portion of a structure or other shelter designed as short or long-term living quarters for one or more persons, including rental or timeshare accommodations such as motel, hotel, and resort rooms and cabins.
Paul, I didn't even see that, so thank you. I appreciate you putting that in there. I would agree with dwelling unit, but just on another fact that I think there's council agreement that we don't want to see these turned into like a hotel, short-term rental kind of mentality.
Right.
Right.
Could we
So-
add or change the language to, so under storage of a personal nature that is not qualifiable as a dwelling unit?
That is not what, I'm sorry.
That does not qualify and excludes dwelling, the dwelling unit use, connect the dwelling unit, you have it there as second. Get rid of is not intended for human habitation and dwelling units. It's really about addressing not a dwelling unit, correct?
So it's not intended for use as a dwelling.
A dwelling unit, period.
Robin,
Let's
can
get
you,
rid of intended for, so we would delete not intended for, sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. It's not intended to be a dwelling unit, period. Get rid of human habitation. I mean, the dwelling unit takes care of that, correct?
I would agree. Can you,
That is not intended for use as a dwelling unit.
can
There
you
you go.
read that back to me, Robin?
Sandy, what you just said sounded good.
Sandy, can you read it back?
The end, that is not intended for use as a dwelling unit.
Okay. So can you read your final definition, please?
A structure used for the storage of belongings, equipment, or materials of a personal nature that is not intended for use as a dwelling unit.
Perfect. That is not intended.
And that would take care of VRBOs, right? That's all addressed in a dwelling unit.
For use
So it
of-
can't be used for such as a dwelling unit.
Well, I believe if a dwelling unit, it said something designed as short or long-term living quarters for one or more persons, including a rental, timeshare accommodation such as a hotel, motel, and resort rooms and cabins.
Right,
That's
so-
the part we don't agree with.
Well, no,
We-
right, it can't
we
be
do-
any of those, it can't be
Yeah, okay, yes, yeah, right, it can't be any of those.
any of those things. Yep.
Okay, yep. Cool. And then on the bottom of that same page, we have storage buildings personal for the land tables, and it's a CU. I guess I would be in favor of if a person wants to come in and do a personal storage unit with the intentions of having living quarters or having a man cave mentality, that they come in for a CU, for a conditional use in front of the planning commission. I do see the importance of that. But if they're wanting to just put up a storage building where they're going to be working on their cars and everything else, I believe that can be a permissible item.
I like having a CU in place.
In both? Okay, Bob, thoughts?
Well, I see both sides of that, so I guess I would agree with Sandy that we just leave it in place.
Jamie?
Yeah, I'd like to see the CU stay in place for that.
Robin?
I agree, the CU would be
Okay,
helpful as
then we will leave that
initially-
one alone. It will be a conditional use for both buildings.
I just think it provides greater clarification for everything moving forward.
That's fine.
And Jackson, when you, I guess just for clarification reasons, when you say both types of buildings, are what you're talking about both fall under personal storage buildings?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify if we needed to add.
No, you're good, but thank you for that, Paul. I appreciate it. Okay, so that means, okay, back to the next page. There's that mixed-use district again. We've already gone over that. Now we're on page number 2. MU means mixed district. We're good with that. Going through the code of ordinances, the land use.
And
Go ahead.
sorry to interject. Again, I pretty much copied and pasted from a limited commercial outside of adding personal storage. We took off a couple of ones that are rather ridiculous to have in the limited commercial and mixed use, but outside of that, it reads the exact same.
I
And
guess some of them I had just questioned.
Well, and it is gonna be, we've already talked, I mean, the planning commission knows that there is a lot of odd things on this land use table.
There is.
And we do plan to go through it in upcoming meetings, more in depth. And it'll obviously come back to you, but this was created by the county, and it doesn't necessarily read very well for
Okay.
the city of Cross Lake.
As long as,
You can talk about it today, obviously,
Okay,
but
I was-
I'm just letting you know that it is on our to-do list to go through,
awesome.
and strengthen for the city.
Okay, cool, because some of them I looked at and I'm like, huh?
Some
So,
don't
like
make
the energy systems associated with the principal use and solar collectors and wind generators under 50 kilowatts, it's a permissible use. To me, I guess that doesn't make sense. Like, that should be a conditional use permit.
Yeah, there's a number of things that,
A group home, detention facility, or a correction home facility, rehabilitation home, I don't think we should even have that in a mixed-use district.
Yeah.
And that's an additional use.
Yeah.
So you guys are gonna go through those?
We're gonna go line item by line
Okay.
item and go through.
We won't do that today then.
I'd like to thank you in advance.
Exactly.
You and the commission, not only for what you're going to do, but what you have done.
So as we pan through, we're now back at page 9. So then we run into the commercial/light industrial density and dimensional standards. Number 4, we're good with number 3, outside storage is prohibited. Number 4, that definition will change, correct? Thank you. Looks like all the other mixed-use standards, those will stay the same, but once again, number 5 will change. That is the definition of the septic system.
Correct.
I just had a quick question on the table at the bottom. Public right-of-way frontage says 100 feet. So they need to have 100 feet on a road? Is that the lot size?
No, that's the width of the lot along a public right-of-way. 100 feet.
Okay. So they just need to have 100 feet on a public right-of-way to be able to, their lot needs to be 100 feet wide to have a,
Yeah, when establishing lot sizes, when they come in and plat it.
okay.
And again, that
I
wouldn't
just-
apply to ones that have already been platted, but coming in for new ones.
Perfect. I just wanted to have some clarification on that. Then we go on to page 10. It doesn't look like there's anything big on that one. Page 11, there's nothing. Page 12, once again, nothing big.
And once again, the screening, the landscaping standards, the lighting standards, all are staying as the limited commercial reads.
Thank you. Page 13, lighting standards for commercial property on riparian lots in the Shoreland District. It says mixed-use districts are prohibited in the shoreland and overlay districts. Now, just on a case of one of the lots on, or one of the developments on East Shore, I believe that this mixed use that we're presenting would fall over into that 1,000 feet.
Since the city is designating these two properties as mixed use,
Is excluded?
it would be excluded.
Because that would eliminate that whole back half of that development.
Yeah, and again, that would read more so for people coming in,
Moving
Okay.
forward.
moving
Thank you.
forward.
Okay.
Page 14, that has all stayed the same. Page 15, limited commercial district, glass on any front facade shall be a minimum of 5% with non-front facades consisting of a minimum of 2.5. Is everyone okay with that?
Yes.
Me too. The plastic sheeting for commercial greenhouses only, building design, exterior building materials and colors shall be blended to enhance the city's existing Northwoods environment. Overhang to be 24 inches on all sides. Height to the peak shall be a maximum of 35 feet with a roof pitch of 412. I think we're all okay with that. 16, nothing. 17, mixed use district, again, same thing, same definitions for architectural standards. I have no problem with any of these. Does anybody else?
No, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to page 18, once again, that bottom personal storage building definition, that will be tied up here. That will be changed to what we have decided today. So I believe just an overview of what we just did today is the council is fine with water and septic in these districts. We are allowing the crash pad / man cave mentality of just staying there from time to time, but not intended for residential dwelling. We do not, what was that?
Well, the wording on that, on page 18, How do you want that to read?
It's gonna read the same as
Okay, not
the-
intended for use as.
Correct. Yep. Council does not want to see this turn into a residential living in VRBO at all. And we are fine with the conditional use permits for going forward. Otherwise, I think the ordinance is pretty tidy. There's some good standards in there. So I consider that the first reading of this new ordinance. And if you could do the administrative changes to the ordinance coming forward, that would be awesome. We have 30 days, correct, until we read it a second time?
10.
10 days? Do we want to do, because this has been a project in the making for over a year, and we're entering a building season here quickly, I would like to get this on the calendar for the second reading so people can get started. We can make this as timely as possible. So 10 days from now, we can include weekends, correct?
I will be gone the 22nd until through the 26th.
Through the 26th?
Is it possible we could do it on the 21st?
No,
No, that's 10 days puts us at the
10 days.
24th from today.
Has to be 10 days.
at least, yes.
Oh, so it can be longer.
So let's do, you said you're back the 26th?
I fly back the 26th, so
And
we could do
let's-
it the 27th or
If we
28th.
if we have a quorum,
Okay, I'd say this doesn't need, I mean, if you want to be here, sure. No, you're fine?
I'm fine.
So
'cause
10 days puts us at the 20, did I say the 24th? I'm sorry.
yes.
Are you here Monday, the 24th, Robin?
I am, yes.
Sandy?
Yes,
Jamie?
Yes.
Myself, yes. We will do Monday, the 24th for the second reading. How does 9 o'clock sound for everybody?
Good.
yeah.
Yes? Robin?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Sounds good. Second reading of this ordinance at 9 o'clock on the 24th.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. Good job, everybody.
I move you, I move, oh, are we done?
After the
Nice.
second reading, how many days to publish it? And then does it become,
It can be published the following week.
okay.
So then by the 31st, we'll have people coming in here and doing conditional uses and everything else.
Mr. Mayor, are you going to take public comment?
Not today.
Cheryl?
We have a tentative 20, we already have a meeting on the 24th here for our commission.
Oh,
That's,
On Monday?
Our April 20,
No, March.
March.
March. Yeah, no.
and what, Ms. Stuckmeyer, what would that have to do with anything of reading a second reading? Having, that you guys are having a meeting?
She was thinking April, so.
Oh. I mean, we can always adjust the time.
Monday, it's a Monday the 24th?
yep.
Monday,
March
March
24th,
yeah.
But what day is it on? It's-
Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yeah, I know what you
Okay.
Okay. So are we correct that it can, after it's published, it can go into effect?
Our ordinance.
Okay,
and
that's
we're-
what I'm at
we had
questioning.
We had a discussion with our attorney yesterday about this. For whatever reason, our land use ordinance takes 30 days
That's what I thought,
after you guys
second.
approve it,
after this.
30 days. And we're
So after the second
going to
reading.
change that because it should be after it's published.
I
in the
agree.
paper, but
So it will be published that following week, but it can't. be-
So, hold
might
on,
need that time anyway.
hold on. If we're gonna have a meeting on, oh, never, what did I say? The 24th?
Correct.
Can we add to the agenda on the
Oh, no, that's fine, sorry.
can we add to the agenda on the 24th of polishing up that 30-day deal? So we can make it, no?
That's an ordinance change, so
Right, can we do an ordinance change on that day to delete the 30 days?
it would be the first reading.
Well,
I'm sorry, we talked to the attorney. It's an ordinance change. It has to go to our commission has to suggest it to you, and then you have to, it's the same as what you're doing here today.
Okay, so they even have to suggest if we're gonna do an ordinance change, the city council can't start that on the 24th and jumpstart the process?
It's the same as what you're doing here. You can't just start the ordinance. It has to go to the commission first. The commission has to recommend to you any ordinance changes. We did try.
Why can't it come from the city council to the commission? I believe it should be that way. The city council suggests to the commission, and then commission can suggest back to us. But all I'm stating is on the 24th, we make a recommendation to delete this 30-day policy stuff, and it starts on the process starts on the 24th.
Because it's our, well, it does state in our land use ordinance that it should come from the planning commission. The city council, you could, I mean, it's been done before, but it, I mean, probably could be recommended from you guys.
Okay, we're gonna
The proper
recommend.
procedure is coming from planning, just so you know.
When's your next meeting?
Your next meeting would be the
28th of March.
28th?
I guess I'm not trying to trump state law here, I'm just trying to be efficient.
Yeah, no, and I get that.
And that's why we talked to the attorney. We
Yeah.
were trying to get more efficient.
We were trying to not have it go through proper procedure as well.
Okay, sounds good. I guess we will just leave that date for the ordinance reading for the second
So
reading.
yeah, if the second reading went through, it'd be 30 days from the 24th.
Perfect. I'm good. Bob, are you good?
I'm good.
Jamie, are you good? Robin?
Yep.
Sandy?
I'm thrilled to have this done.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Okay. I move to adjourn.
Second? Any further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, Shar?
Sandy?
Yes?
Robin?
Yes.
Bob? Yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Jamie?
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.